everybody, how you doing today? It's a new day, it's a fresh day. I hope you're up, shaking and baking. I always say that all the guests on the Paul Fo podcast are fascinating people. This guy, I have history with this guy. I've known him since. So we are like family. So he said,
Since we're wearing what we call soccer pants, a lot of people won't understand
so
that.
great, ambitious entrepreneurs, a fighter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mr. John Oame, CEO, founder, Cut Struct. John, just tell us a little bit about this. I like the name of your business. It's a Techstar Aluminum. You know what is Techstar? That's a big deal, man. Yo, bro, welcome to the pod.
It is. Happy to be here. John Orman, real estate practitioner, close to 20 years. I think I've gone the full 9 yards from being an agent, just like you said, hustling and needing to be better every day, fighting with my own self, to do better than my yesterday. So being an agent and then, moving that into interior design, which is taking it a step further in the value chain. Because you help people find these homes, and the next thing is they need to get somebody to fit them out. I'm sure you would have experienced that on your move to the UK, you know. So doing a lot of interior design and then at some point doing some construction finishing. Someone said, come, take everything out of this house and let's put something new. And I love the challenge. I set up a team. And I made up my mind that I will never need the team again, the team I set up, because they were all sort of subcontractors themselves. I was going to learn how to do it myself and build my own internal structure, which I did. Over time, got into construction through one of the big players in the Lekki corridor. Worked as a subcontractor for him, building his homes. But then I learned the trade and did my own projects as well. But most importantly, I saw a lot of chaos in the space. Like, it was absurd how much we had to do as developers, just dealing with suppliers, dealing with artisans, dealing with workers. You had to sort of be a mad person to be able to just interact with these guys. Because, a supplier of cement, when Paul Fo calls him to buy cement, he believes Paul Fo is buying cement. He believes that's what Paul Fo is doing. What he doesn't understand is that cement is a piece of Paul Fo's puzzle. Paul Fo is actually delivering homes, which I trust. And in some cases where Paul Fo is delivering those homes to off-takers who have believed in him before the homes were built, that cement is a piece of a puzzle that may determine whether those people will patronize you again or not. Because when you tell them, oh, I'm building Paul Fo residences, and you show them that nice 3D, and they start to pay instrumentally, you give them a timeline, they are expecting, they sometimes the husband, they've told their wife that we're buying a house, and Paul Fo is building it. And Paul Fo has said by June, we can come and see the carcass. So the wife too has her own alarm clock. And she has told the child that don't worry about this landlord. We're going to leave this house. We're going to leave this house in 12 months. So the guy is selling cement, thinks you are buying cement. He doesn't know you are delivering a vision. But another whole family and multiple families
are dependent on.
And so one day I said, no, the guy that will solve this problem will be a superstar. And now, boss, if there's one thing we have in common is that we want to be superstars. Let's not deceive ourselves, And tough as it is, I decided to start Cut Struct. I coined the name from cutting cost and construction. Because the truth is, whether it's time you waste, whether it's, buying the wrong things, going back and forth, it all boils down to increasing your cost. And a lot of times, the reason why projects fail is because there's impact on cost. It's either you started the project at price A, you're finishing at price B, now you're fighting with your customers as to what to pay, or you can't even finish it, you abandon it, or you begin to buy cheap, low-quality materials just to finish, right? So most of the problems in construction are tied somewhere around cost. And so cutting costs in construction is what we coined to make Cut Struct. And then Cut Struct technology, so it's cutting costs in construction with the use of technology. So Cut Struct technology, that's how we coined the name.
So that's the problem you guys solve.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the problem we solve.
So for somebody who is a buyer in the industry and they come across CutStruct, what specific problem do you solve? Do you solve the problem of material buying? What?
Material buying. I sell building materials.
And it's online. So you leverage technology for that.
So we leverage technology. What we've also seen is that the market, certain aspects of the market, so we've dimensioned our market into three. I won't give you the whole lecture, but the most popular part of the market, which is the tier three, which you will be used to, which is the developers and everybody. What we've also seen is that they're not necessarily ready for the technology. So what we've done is that we've taken what they're ready for, which is they want efficient service, they want materials at the right price, right quality, they want it, somebody to deal with them. They're currently dealing with 40 vendors. They have a lot of invoicing going up and down. They'd rather just consolidate all that, deal with one guy. So we do that. And what we've now done is that we've now had our own in-house, what you call operator, who does the technology part for them. So they say, you know what, John, I'm used to sending I want material, is on WhatsApp. Send it.
Very good.
My own guy will do the technology part. What you want is materials, right? That's the price. You still get it on WhatsApp. However, one of the advantages of using a bank card, for example, is that in 1 year, 2 years, you have something called a bank statement. And so if you were going to apply for a visa, you can show the visa officer your capability.
That's right.
By printing your bank statement. Or if you needed a loan, you can print a bank statement. So what we're doing is that what our customers don't know we're doing is that we're creating a transaction statement for them. Because now as you buy on a platform, every transaction you do is logged. So in a year's time, I will show you a dashboard that shows you how many bags of cement you bought this year, how many this, how many that. And a time is coming where when you go and apply for a real estate or a construction loan, you will be asked for your history. Today, they ask you for auditor statement, they ask you for all those things that they don't necessarily need to ask you for. Because really, what they are trying to see is your capability.
That's right.
And as we move construction procurement to platforms, we will start having that data, which you can use to show to the World Bank, for example, that you've built 20,000 homes over the last 5 years, and this is what you have done.
So this is very powerful.
It's a multifaceted solution. It seems simple, selling materials, but we're creating a new look for the industry. We're changing the way the dynamics work, and it has happened in other parts of the world. There's no reason why Africa shouldn't also.
Very powerful. I think it was Chimamanda Adichie that said that until the lion can talk, every story will glorify the hunter.
That's so good. You need to tell our stories more.
Yeah, because you see, a real estate guy has done a lot of numbers in Nigeria, but there's no track record for that. And America will do tiny. They will loud it.
I always say that they're the greatest PR company.
My goodness, it's so powerful. So I really
respect them. I love it.
I love it. So, John, you went back to an incubator to really learn this thing. Can I call this prop tech as well? Isn't
prop tech?
Am I safe to call it prop tech? Great. You actually went back. You deepen your learning before you started your earning. Why is that important? Why didn't you just say, I know this industry, I know a lot of people in this, let me just kickstart? What triggered that sense of, I need to get to the first principles of this?
Yeah, I think for me, one big principle, and I don't know how I did it, to be honest. I've just always loved principle. I think maybe starting from the principled father I have, to at some point the very principled pastor I had, who sort of just, I don't know, they just put it inside of me. So I always think in principles. Now, the principle for this that I use is a wise man learns from his mistakes. But a lot of times his mistakes will come with scars. I've made mistakes in my life. I have a lot of scars from them, right? A wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. The advantage of that is that he will have less scars. They say that when we were young, they used to say, now who no ask question, go miss road or there's we had one saying like that basically said, instead of missing your way and burning petrol and stumbling through life,
just ask.
And you see, I realized that
So good.
it's tough for a lot of people because we typically like extremes. Should you be humble or should you be proud? You know, for example, I think the wisest people in the world are not any of the two. They vacillate. There's a day they call you, John, come and show up. That's not a day to be humble. That's
Come on
no,
now.
it's not me they're calling. No, that's a day to show up. There's a place to be humble and
So
not
good.
exert yourself. Sit at the back, learn. So a lot of times because we don't know the ratios, we pick one. We're either so humble that we don't show up, or so proud that we don't listen. The greatest leaders are able to be both. They know you've called me to talk today. Now I can't keep quiet. But when another person is on your show and I'm watching, I won't be talking. Because anything I don't take from him is the one I didn't add to myself. So that was the principle. I was entering a new industry. I don't want to go and fail first, then come and spend 3 years. No. What do I need to learn? The people who are there, a lot of them, just by providence, will be much younger. But the truth is that they know what I'm looking for. I always tell people, if you don't have a good self-esteem, don't teach me anything. Because when I use that thing, you said, you go say, even me where I teach this guy. I've not used it like this. Just like being a lifelong learner. So for me, that was it. I'm entering this new industry. I don't want to go there and sort of bungle it up. Let me go and find out how it's done. And, God sort of positioned it in such a way that, COVID was a big disaster for the world, but there were some benefits for some of us. So, for example, we're all locked at home. I was on every single webinar, listening, connecting the dots. Okay, so this one that Paul said, this is what it means here. Just sort of learning. Today I have conversations, and I'm just like, guy, 5 years ago, you didn't know any of these things. And I tell people that whether you do anything or not, time will be counting. So 5 years is coming.
Yeah.
Before we blink, me and you now, it will be 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you've been in the UK, but it was like yesterday when we did right? Whether you did anything
Arcadia
or not,
News Estate.
Arcadia News. Whether you did anything or not, today was coming. So better do something that you will enjoy. A lot of times when we look at the magnitude of what we have to learn, and they tell us it will take 5 years to learn it, we want to get discouraged because it will come. Your own is just to be learning today, learn tomorrow, just be waking up, sleeping and waking up and doing that thing.
Yeah.
It happens in a blink.
So powerful. So powerful. I think it was John Maxwell that said that great leaders are not made in a day, they are made daily. So
I love that. That puts words to my thoughts.
Yeah, so it just encapsulates that. Let me add one more encapsulation. One of the men I admire so much in this world, his name is Charlie Munger. He's the co-founder of Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett. One of the wisest men. He died in 2023 at 99 years old. He would have been 100. One of my heroes. He said that he has what they call inversion thinking. He said, don't ask yourself, how can I have a great marriage? He said, that's the wrong question. He said, ask yourself, what are the top 10 things that will destroy my marriage? Do the opposite of them.
It's so funny that you say this because I was talking to a friend of mine that I also respect. And he was saying that, have we noticed that 8 of the 10 commandments are do not? That a lot of times we try to learn what to do. It's so powerful to learn what to not do.
The guy said,
no is one of the most powerful words in the world. No.
I'll tell you, so powerful. The guy said, show me where I'm going to die so I don't go there.
You know,
Oh my
I, I
God.
love, I love complex thinking so much. You know, it turns me on.
You know, he's a great guy. I've gifted his book to the most of my big friends. I'm gonna get you a copy of his book.
Looking forward to it. Looking
I'll
forward
get
to
you
it.
a
Looking
physical
forward.
copy. I've given it to only three solid people in my life. So I'm going to give you
Wow,
one copy. Yeah, it's a great man. I love him.
Charlie
All right, so
Munger.
so John, let's go ahead. So John, if you had to do cut struct all over again, what skill will you learn first and why? Or what skill will you employ first and why?
Hmm. It's not fair to allow me to say one. And I
Hmm.
like to say like two.
So let's bucket
But
it two.
but yeah, I can actually try. I think the best thing or the thing I wish I started doing earlier, it will come a bit multifaceted, but it's basically tracking. Tracking. Um, the reason why, a lot of times we spend a lot of time doing the wrong things is because we're not really clear on what we're tracking.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's one of the things that also helped me because I've never liked admin work. So when I started Construct, my first staff was a mix. She had two roles. She was both my assistant and my accountant. So I had an accountant that had administrative skills.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons I've successfully raised over $2 million in the last 5 years is because of that.
Hmm.
Our first 4 years were so tough. And the reason it was tough is because I hadn't started tracking as carefully as I track today. So I think personally, I spent more time than I should have to get to where we are today.
Hmm.
I think so. What changed about slightly over a year ago was same period of Techstars was that we encountered somebody through Techstars
Hmm.
who showed us the power of tracking. So a lot of people, you go out every day, you do what you do. You never really come back to see the impact of what you did or what you didn't do.
Hmm.
So you don't even know what to improve on.
Yeah.
The fastest way and what I would do differently if I start a new business is everything I set out to do, I will have a way of tracking it.
Hmm.
And when I think about it with sports, I played pro basketball. A good shooter, what he does is that he tracks what he does about his shooting. He finds his range. Then when he figures it out, he tries to do that thing every single time. So if Steph Curry gets to the court and he shoots the first ball, he looks at the rim, he hits the right side, it falls. He shoots the second one, he hits the right side, it falls. He realizes he's a little off course to the right. What he will do is that he will align just a little to the left. Once he locks in,
Hmm.
he's try.
Hmm.
Because he's tracking what he's doing.
That's right.
What did I do? How did I do it?
So powerful.
The one superpower that I think any person starting a business today to do is being able to, and it's tough,
Mm-hmm.
sit down, think into where you're going, and ask yourself, what do I need to track that will show me if I'm actually going to this direction or not?
Hmm.
And if I'm going to another direction, well, it will show me what I need to adjust.
So true.
I say to people that you will not find what you're not looking for. The day you buy a car, maybe the car is Kia, that day you will start seeing Kia everywhere because the act of purchasing it brings it to your consciousness. Not that the Kias were not there since, they were all there, but you were not seeing them. It has now come to tracking brings your activities to your consciousness.
Like that.
So now you can now see, so Construct struggled. We did the numbers we did in the first 4 years. When we understood this and changed it, we did all those numbers in 3 months. The last 6 months of last year, we did not of 3 billion in transactions. When for 4 years we did an average of 20 million, I think a month a year, and I'm mixing the numbers. The point is that we did everything we did in 4 years.
Beautiful.
Why? We started tracking. So this is what we're doing. That's how we figured out that these guys don't like technology yet. They might not even get it. Do the technology for them. Their problem is this, not this. So for the longest time, it sounded so nice, John, the prop tech founder. So you want to prop tech the tech. But the guy wants to know at the time, right? Even he doesn't know really the value, So when we started tracking, we started saying, okay, so this is where the drop-off point is. People are interested until this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do we maximize this part where they are interested so that they don't drop off? Because we're now tracking.
So good. This is so good.
That's what I would do differently earlier.
Truth is truth. Peter Drucker said, this is like in the 90s, 1997. He said, you cannot improve anything if you don't measure it. And you see this thing that you just said? I wish someone was listening to this podcast, if he just gets this.
Life changer.
Even in sales, I tell people, very simple. If you say, you know what, I want to track now, don't focus on the outcome. Just focus on the tracking. Just say, I want to talk to 20 people every day about my business. Just track it every single day. 5 days a week, 52 weeks in a year. You will not know your business again. It's so powerful.
At CutStruct, we have a scorecard, and we have something we call all hands every Monday. So all the teams come together, and every team has the metrics they track on that scorecard.
Very good.
So, for example, I can tell you right here off the bat, that my sales team current conversion calls to request is about 20%.
That's
because we are tracking.
No, for those people who are mathematically challenged, it means that if salespeople calls 100 people, 20 people will want to know more about their product. Will place a request.
Then we are tracking the conversion from request to sales.
So what's the mathematics of that?
It's a different metric. That one is slightly higher.
Yeah.
That one is somewhere around 70-something%.
Yes. So if that means of those 20 people, so we're saying about 17 of them pay for their product and their service. This is good.
Now, when those metrics dip, because we are tracking, there's a question to ask.
That's right.
For example, it dipped once, and we realized that one particular salesperson was the reason why the general team numbers dipped. So the next question is, what is this guy saying or doing that is not making him have results?
So you record the calls.
As soon as we ask him,
the calls.
In fact, in this case, we didn't even go as far as that. Then we didn't have the technology. We now have the technology to record the calls. But then we didn't even have the technology. So it was just a question of, so what are you saying? And because he was also just a straight up guy, he wasn't defensive. Oh, sir, I've been telling them that that's the problem. So we figured out what it was, and many other principles, including sometimes just letting people arrive at conclusions themselves. So it was questions from me. Okay, this thing you said, what did you want him to understand by it?
Gotcha.
He said this was okay. If you wanted him to understand by it that this, and you said this, do you think if it was you, if they said this to you, will you understand it? Say, I see it. He won't understand it. I said, okay, so what will you say if you want him to understand this? Then, okay, maybe I'll say this. So the solutions came from him.
That's right. That's right.
But we now also realize that we now need to have almost like a sales script, which you can be creative with, but there are certain points you must land.
Yeah.
For example, when if my cement price is 5 naira more than the other guy,
Mhm.
but you are talking to 40 different people. You have spent that 5 naira on phone calls first. Then you have spent another 10 on the time that you lost calling 40 people.
Yeah.
Then you've spent another 10 on invoicing and documentation for those 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, you will give them receipt or you will get receipt. Then your accountant will spend another time on reconciling all those invoices at the end of the month.
Yes.
If you don't have one, then I shouldn't even be talking to you because maybe you're not even a serious business person. But if you're a serious business person, then you are doing a lot of reconciliation, including bank reconciliation. If you take all that time and instead deal with one construct, where you think you lost 5 naira, you gain 30.
Yeah.
Now, my sales guy needs to understand this. If not, he will go and be selling cement. I'm not selling cement. I'm selling cost savings through time savings, through efficiency.
That's a serious value proposition.
And importantly, I understand your real outcome. So I know you are not buying cement. So if my cement is late, I can't sleep. The other guy, if he's late, he will just tell you, bro, it's not traffic now. You know, no say traffic. Because that guy is selling cement. Me, I'm selling trust.
You're not selling the functional dimension of the product. You're selling not just the utility of the product, but I'm looking for the
utility is fair, but outcome.
The outcome, yeah.
Selling the final outcome.
Yeah. So you can't have stupid salespeople selling this product. They gotta be smart.
That's why it's me that called you and I called you and said, boss, I need your hand. Because I found some smart people. Very smart.
Yeah.
So it's now time to just give them the tools they need, including the training that you provide.
I like that.
And let's get to the point where we don't do tasks. One of the biggest challenges and the differences between, I have to be careful what I say, I go enter trouble now, between us and the West is task thinking, activity thinking versus
outcome thinking. So true. So true.
Every Sunday you see us with, leaps and bounds, trooping to church. I can promise you that the amount of people who know what they are going to do there is minuscule, is small.
Yeah.
Let's leave that one. That one is too controversial. Most things you ask people, why are you doing this? They say, no, so we did one. A lot of people don't know why they, I was asking one of my teammates yesterday, I said, why do we greet ourselves in the morning? The person was tired.
Like, what kind of philosophers in my boss do I have?
The person thought of many things. I said, do you know why we greet? I think we greet to make people feel regarded. And that's why you don't necessarily have to greet a stranger. But if you walk past your wife in the morning, your wife is going to wonder, you didn't see me. Because
I'm acknowledged.
So to acknowledge is a good word for it. And so if I said, Paul, good morning, I have done the task, but I have not regarded you. You don't feel regarded. In fact, you can tell that good morning means God punish you. Even though I did the task. So there's task or activity thinking, then there's outcome thinking. Meanwhile, I can be on the phone and I see you and I say, I didn't say good morning, but you feel acknowledged.
I like that.
You feel regarded.
I like that.
No words. So just moving that activity thinking to outcome thinking. I think that's something that, we need to sort of start to imbibe in our own communities, like always knowing why we do things.
Wow.
Because
Guys, this has been a fascinating conversation, guys. Before we go further and we wrap up, this episode of the Paul Fo podcast, John, I just roped you, was sponsored by Construct.
Thank God.
I'll send you my invoice later. So I know that a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora listen to this, but I've seen the back end. A lot of Nigerians listen to it in America, listen to it in the UK. So guys, check Construct. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to check out what they are doing. I'll put John's LinkedIn link for you to check. I believe in what they're doing. I mean, this is off the cuff. I just said that they sponsored this. Is so good. So great conversation. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button. If you live in London, March 27, 2025, I'm doing my first live conference in London. Call out to set and achieve your sales target. 20 people have already paid for that class. You need to be in that class. Link in the show notes as well. But if you don't live in the UK, we have a class coming up 1st to 5th of April called a 5-day mixed sales challenge. 1,000 people have graduated from that class. I just finished doing some work for one company now. They've done 8 billion in sales off the back of the things that we learned in that 5-day mixers challenge. So the link is also in the show notes. Check it out yourself. John, I'll give you some fire round questions and then we'll wrap up. What's the favorite book that has really, really shaped your thinking? I know you're a man, you're a Christian. Currently is the first book of John I'm reading. I told my children, just stay there, don't leave there. Chapter 4. I'm just there. I just can't leave that scripture right now. And I know I read a lot. I read 30 books last year. I spent 20,000 minutes listening to podcasts last year. So I read a lot. So what's the one book that has really, really helped you in your business? That time that you just picked, you didn't even finish the book, but man, it just shaped you. Or a podcast, or a YouTube video, something.
There's so many, but I'll pick one. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh my God, that's a classic.
I feel like we underrate how social influence, how much role it plays on a business. You can know everything in the world. Somebody say, don't judge a book by its cover. Make your book cover ugly. Nobody will open your book. Nobody will open your book. Just being that person that people want to talk to. You can learn a lot from people just because they like to have you in the room. If you're not on the table, you can't eat.
Yeah. But John, you have that effect. You have that effect. The very first day I saw you, first I saw you was in there. What's the that popular mall in Lagos? All of us used to go there a lot.
ShopRite.
This guy was wearing a serious suit, color socks. Then color socks were like, who is this guy? And then he's tall, big, like. I'm sure you had that effect with a lot of people when you now open your mouth like, wow, man, I got to do business with this guy. So I believe what you're saying is very powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very, very, very powerful. Wow. John. So what's your advice to young entrepreneurs that say, look, I like what John is doing. I want to do that. John, you have not talked about this, but in what role does fitness play in your life? Because both of us were fitness buffs. You play basketball. I used to come to VGC, see you a lot. So I know that one time you were heavy on the gym. What role has that thing? I mean, it plays a huge role in my life. Transfer what happens in the gym to my business is powerful. How does that help your mental health?
I think that importantly, like a lot of times we don't know, but your biggest asset is your body, and the way you maintain your machines, you clean your engine for your car, you service it. You need to do that to the body because this is the one that's processing everything.
Everything, you're right.
Johnny has even gone to a notch. I've now included, mobility, which is flexibility. So I have a coach who stretches with me. We do stretches for at least 30 minutes every weekday morning.
That's good.
It's a game changer. You just told me, let's do this podcast. I'm here. I didn't even ask you what you asked me. No. I'm alert. My brain is on because the physical body is switched on.
That's right.
So there's a complex, we're a complex being, we have a spirit, so, we're complex. But the body is equally important because it is the representative. The spirit can be in heaven, but your body is what we see, is what represents you here. And if you
Powerful.
don't take care of it, then it will not be able to deliver what is inside it.
Hmm.
So it's very key. And as we go older, it becomes more important, and maybe tougher. So I fell off the bandwagon for about 10 years, stopped playing basketball, didn't do anything.
Mm.
And it was tough to come back on. So I tell all my younger friends, don't fall off. It's
Mm.
tougher to come back on.
Mm.
I'm happy to be back on. I love the way I feel. The other day, the lady's phone fell. I just picked it up.
Your
If you're 40
reflexes are
plus,
fast. Yeah.
if you're 40 plus, you know that your back does not pick things like that.
Yes.
But with all the stretching and all of that, it felt good to just be able to reach, pick it up, back up, keep it moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel the same way too. And hydration too, Wow, John, this has been a very, very good. I can't wait for this episode to come out on Sunday. I'm really, really excited. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Like, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly. So, guys, click on the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon. John, let me stop the recording. Then we can just a little bit to